WWE has an absolutely loaded roster, right? So much talent, so much potential, but let's be honest, with those recent releases still fresh in our minds, it's clear that just being a talent isn't always enough to secure your spot or get what you want to the next level. Sometimes what a superstar really needs is a creative change. Today we're going to be diving deep into a few names. Think Santos Escobar, Austin Theory, and one other surprising name who we believe are in desperate need of a gimmick refresh or a total new direction. Whether it's to avoid becoming stale, to finally break through, or to just try to get one last epic run, these WWE stars could seriously benefit from shaking things up. Let's break it down, why they need it, and how we can get there. Let's start off the list. Santos Escobar. You talk about struggling for top star status. That's where this man finds himself. He's brilliant in the ring, but his Legado del Fantasma leader gimmick, face or heel, feels like it's running its course on the main roster. Fans, they often expect him to lose. So why is the change needed? It's done to elevate him to a top mid-card act and prevent him from just being another guy. How can WWE and Santos Escobar do this? Well, I can tell you right now. Break out as a singles act without the group or new presentation. A totally different gimmick, possibly inspired by WWE's new relationship and ownership with Triple A. We're also talking about urgency here because we need it to happen soon and we need it to happen really fast. Santos Escobar is an interesting guy and it's an interesting name because when he made the jump to WWE and he unmasked and he did his gimmick and he did his faction, it really worked well in WWE. The only problem was WWE didn't treat him like a top tier guy. He can talk, he's a pretty good worker, he is on the smaller side, and I don't know if that necessarily holds him back from being a top tier guy. At the end of the day, though, WWE, they haven't really done much with him on the main roster, and there's not necessarily a quick fix. I think him undergoing a gimmick change, getting away from the faction could help. I also see him as a guy that could easily be released at any given time, and that's never a good spot to be in, especially in WWE, in which does have dramatic mass talent releases. It's not good. It's not good for him. It's not good for his fans, right? It's not a good time, and I think that also hurts how WWE uses him on the main roster. Something to keep in mind. Number 2, Austin Theory. Once heavily pushed by Vince McMahon as a future World Heavyweight Champion, but dropped down the card dramatically under Triple H, his tag team with Grayson Waller has run its course. Why is it needed? To get him back to doing something relevant and work his way up the card yet again. Keep in mind that a split from Grayson Waller, perhaps a babyface turn, he's able to do some comedy and he's talented enough to win over the fan base. Maybe that's what is needed, but he's going to need urgency. Currently, it's hard to see how he gets back to his prominence without a change. Keep in mind, this was the same guy that he was in NXT. He didn't do anything notable. He didn't do anything special. He was called up to the main roster because Vince McMahon was in love with him. And he was paired with Seth Rollins, and it didn't work. So WWE's like, well, you know what? Vince likes him. He's young. He's got a great look. He's got a personality. Let's send him back down to NXT. Let's repackage him, and let's see where he can go. He said put him part of the way with Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and Andy Hartwell. And they became a really, really fun babyface faction. Okay? I feel like they split them away too quickly. First it was a heel, then a babyface faction, but you get the point. And it's like, hey man, we could do more with this faction. I thought, at least on the main roster, up that they did really good stuff in NXT. But ultimately, Theory was called up to the main roster. They were kind of split up from there. And he was a pet project of Vince, to the point where he got to work John Cena at WrestleMania a few years ago. John Cena, who absolutely roasted this man on the mic. Okay? Roasted it. And he talked about how they had to pipe in crowd noise for him just so it seemed like he could get a reaction. And even if Theory could beat him at WrestleMania, it was never going to be enough. He was never going to cut it. Oh, how that came true. Because it did. And John was right. He was correct in his prediction. And so now we have a situation in which he's been put into a tag team with Grayson Waller, and no one cares. Now, Grayson Waller, I think, is actually a pretty good talent. He just has not found his footing on the main roster. He's actually very good then in NXT, but the guy can talk, he can work. I really like him. He's got size, he's got presence. But this tag team, they keep teasing, hey, Theory and Waller don't break up, and I just don't see it. But it doesn't mean that I'm against this. And I also think that they should break up this tag team sooner rather than later. And at number one, I know you were thinking, who's the surprise name? Who's the talent that WWE needs to redo something with? Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's AJ Styles, y'all. The phenomenal one. Now, I understand that AJ is older. He's almost 50, if not already. Someone Google it. And I understand he's on the tail end of his career. He's talked about how he thinks, maybe at the end of his contract, whatever it may be, that this will be it. He's talked in the past how he wants to remain with WWE, potentially being a performance center type coach. I think that would be a great spot for him, maybe even an agent, right? He's got great minds in business. He's just older. He got to WWE late in his career, but outside of the last few years, he was booked as a top star, multiple time former WWE champion. I loved his feud with John Cena in 2016, 2017. Go back and watch that feud on the SmackDown brand. That was such a special time for SmackDown Live, and that was really a show that saved WWE during that time period, and AJ Styles was a great part of that there. I think it was No Mercy, it could have been Payback. One of those pay-per-view events, it was John Cena, it was Dean Ambrose, it was AJ Styles in a triple threat. I watched that match a few months ago. I actually showed off it to my son, and he actually really liked it. He was a big John Cena fan. And so that was a good point. But in recent years, Styles hasn't done much, right? He's just been putting others over. He's been a little bit of injury prone, if you will, and it's hard to watch. It really is. But I think that AJ has a little bit left in the tank, okay? And I think it's a situation in which WWE can utilize this. They can see it, they can feel it, and they can do something with it with AJ if they want to do so. I think they should. I think it's right there for the taking, and I hope the WWE sees it. They understand it. They want to do something with AJ. Will they, won't they? I don't know. But I think that they should. I think they should take a look in the mirror and go, hey, you got a really special guy here. He can help out with the younger talent. He can get a lot of people over. I'm just saying, it's something that we can definitely dive into if WWE and Triple H want to do so.